All right, class. Sergio Silva Jr. here for week 7 discussion board. Pardon one more time the construction happening. It feels like it never ends. I'll try to speak very clearly and openly so you can hear me. But I am utilizing option two's discussion board for this week, and a very interesting discussion board, at least for me. I haven't spent too much time learning about personality assessments, um, so I haven't come across the Neo personality assessment, which this option is about. It seems like this option wants to focus a little more of its attention to the validity and the reliability. So I'll be spending quite a bit of time talking about that. But I feel like it'll be relevant to talk a little bit about the personality assessment in general. So this utilizes the Big Five personality framework. It's one of the many theories of conceptualizing personality, and there are domains to each one of these five. There are six in particular, so there are 30 subsets or facets of each one of these domains collectively, right? So for the first domain is neuroticism, and some of these facets are, anxiety, anger, depression. Then there's the second domain of extroversion, and that can be warmth or assertiveness or positive emotions. The third domain being openness, and that can be feelings, actions, ideas, a value system, for instance. Then there is agreeableness, the fourth domain, and that can be trust, straightforwardness, modesty. Then the fifth domain, which is conscientiousness, has to do with order, self-discipline, deliberation, things like that. So pretty interesting to me. What I'm left with personally is how kind of vague and obscure these five domains are in all of their respective subsets, but how strangely specific they are as well. So kind of an interesting balance there of this kind of vague nature with the specificity that it also has. So I did try to take this test, try being the key word here. Uh, I learned a lot without learning anything at all from the test itself, from the results rather. By the time I got to the third page, I think, I realized that there are 240 plus questions on there, and I jumped ship. I have so I just have a never-ending list of things to do, like I'm sure we all do, and I learned a lot about my ADHD and my ability to stay focused on a single task, basically. So I learned a lot without actually getting the results. And that kind of brings up a weakness, I feel like, just reporting fatigue. By the time I got to question 80 or something, I was like realizing that I wasn't actually spending that much time thinking about what the question was. I almost started to kind of just click away. And that, I feel like, would really kind of interrupt get in the way of the validity of at least the report, right? Or the reliability of the report. I'm not sure which term would be more appropriate to use there. But that does actually bring up the main point of this post, and that's the reliability and validity. So using the reference that I'll post on the bottom, the NIH document that we had that really talks about the validity and reliability, it appears to be extremely reliable and extremely valid. So the reliability coefficients here are zero point 0.8 to 0.9, 0 being, for test and retest reliability being every single time you're going to get something entirely different, whereas 1 being a coefficient of 1 being every single time this person takes this, no matter what, they're essentially going to get the exact same result. So 0.8 to 0.9, that's really, really impressive. And so from the clinical standpoint, you don't really need to worry too much about where your client was on that particular day. Were they super anxious? Were they distracted? Were they really kind of low and depressed? You have a lot of confidence there that the reliability of those results are going to be consistent, and they actually measured that person regardless of where they were or how they presented on that particular day. This is at least my understanding of these findings, right? In terms of the validity, uh, it also appears to have uh, a lot of um, criterion validity, construct validity, and content validity. So we've talked a lot about these in some previous classes, but essentially, regardless if you're comparing this content validity to the Big Five personality framework that this is really kind of based on, even if you apply it to other personality frameworks, the content, the criterion still appears to be valid when testing its results in line with um, with other personality assessments that utilize or are built on different personality frameworks and conceptualizations. So, yeah, this appears to be extremely useful in both clinical settings and in work-related settings. The work-related settings, it kind of dawned on me before I started reading all these PDFs and stuff. I looked at a couple of YouTube videos to see if I can see just an educational video about one of these, and it was surprising to find that there really wasn't that much information on YouTube there, and a lot of the suggested videos were about acing this test to get a job in a a corporate setting, which I found to be very, very interesting. I had never really considered that before, but it makes so much sense. I feel like the corporate world is really relies heavily on this binary, like these ones and zeros, and to take a 240 question assessment test to see if this person is going to be good for job X sounds very corporate to me. So I don't really know exactly how I feel about that. I need to spend a little more time thinking about it, but the utilization here seems to be pretty vast and pretty versatile, considering how reliable and how valid this test appears to be. So, all right, that is about it for the video. Cheers.